What is going on this beautiful Monday? It's 8 degrees here in Connecticut, and oh my God, at almost 10 o'clock, I have to tell you, it has been quite the interesting morning already. And I just have to laugh because that's a gift we give ourselves when we don't judge. And so today I am actually coming on to do a live biweekly newsletter. Typically, I pre record it and then I do all this stuff. And I will actually record this so that I can send it out to people who may not catch me on social. But I figure, you know what? Why not just go live? Because that's just how I roll. All right. So going back to it, I don't even want to say interesting. I want to say it was a morning lived in present moment experiences and not being present at all. And what do I mean by that? All right. So I woke up and I'm like, ooh, today is another day for me to do my Monday edition newsletter, which is bi-weekly. So that's always fun because I always have a good time. And then I had to get my daughter to track. So I'm like, I'm going to go take you to track and I'm going to come home and get ready. Then I'm like, oh, I want to put my contacts in. And the reason why is I love looking at people in the eyes. I fundamentally believe, guys, the eyes are the key to the soul. You can tell whether a person is open or closed, curious or fearful, loving or um not loving because we're all loving but fearful of love, not receptive to love. Anyway, so I wanted to put on my contacts, so I walk over to the mirror and I'm like, oh, the only makeup I wear usually eyeliner, do so I'm putting on eyeliner, come back to my computer, and then I'm getting ready to read all my books to get, inspired for my newsletter. And I'm like, wow, man, these contacts are taking a long time to sit in my eyes. So then my niece came in and she gave me this beautiful gift that she made for me, which is evidently it's a volcano that says believe in love and love, which she obviously knows. She knows that's my favorite word. She said to me, she's like, it has your favorite word. And as I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh my God, I never put in my contacts. So, guys, I spent 10 minutes really curious as to why my contacts weren't working in my eyes, only to realize that because I was not present, I never actually put the contacts in and then spent 10 minutes trying to figure out what was wrong with my life. But that is the gift of being present is like, here's the thing. I don't know, guys. I hear all of this spiritual scripture and everybody talks about being present in the present moment. And I am a lot, right? Like I can tell you how it feels to sit in my chair right now. I can tell you what's going on in my body. But I also am in my mind a lot because that's what I've been brought up to do. So it's interesting to see when you are stuck in your mind thinking and then you come back to the present moment how things unfold. It was quite glorious. Anyway, then I'm getting ready to jump on to do my bi-weekly newsletter, and I get a knock on my door from my oldest daughter who says, you got to go pick up Billy, there's a fire at the school. And I just had to chuckle because that is a living in the present moment. But I'm not here to talk exactly about living in the present moment, although I do believe it ties in beautifully to this conversation. I'm here to talk about judgment and how I fundamentally know, and this is not a belief, this is a felt experience that I have bore witness to many, many times. That judgment of any kind blocks us from witnessing the miracles that are unfolding always, and it's rare that I go on down the spiritual path although people know I'm spiritual, but I also study quantum physics, and I fundamentally know that science proves the existence of an unconscious something. I believe it's love out there helping us. But the reality is there's a lot of scripture in many things, right? Right now I just have a couple, but Bhagavad Gita, the Tao Te Ching, a lot of Rumi stuff, of course in miracles, the Bible, some of the Quran, right? There is a lot of great text that talks about the fact that um we're not we're like we limit ourselves when we judge. We really do. And that means judging ourselves. It also means judging others. It's judging experiences, like judging myself for not figuring out the fact that I didn't have contacts in my eyes for 10 minutes and I didn't know why I couldn't see. Um really we limit ourselves when we judge a situation because we think we know better than however things unfold. And I struggle with this, guys. I'm going to sit here and keep it 100. As somebody who just, I don't know, 5 years ago left a secure corporate job, left all my assets, left all the securities that I once believed kept me safe, that kept me secure, kept me at peace. Spent a lot of time in 5 years judging myself. Spent a lot of time judging how my business is unfolding, how I show up for my clients, how I am doing as a parent, how I'm doing as a sister, how I'm doing as somebody who really doesn't know what I'm doing a lot of the time. But the thing is when I judge myself, I'm not in the present moment to experience peace, and I block myself from watching the miracles that are constantly unfolding in front of me, and they really are. And so, much like this morning, I could have judged all the situations that were unfolding, right? I could have judged myself for not putting in my contacts, which at one point, guys, I would have totally been hard on myself. Oh my God, what's wrong with you, Kerri? Blah, blah, blah. All the crap that we have going on in this mind that convinces us we need to be hard on ourselves. We don't. Being hard and judging yourself does not serve you. I fundamentally know this. I wouldn't have been able to laugh at that experience in front of my niece, who then looked at me and was like, Titi, I've never seen you laugh that hard. She's 7 years old. I'm like, really? I love to laugh. And yet she's never seen me laugh that hard. So that was a beautiful shared experience, right? If I judged why Billy had to get dropped off and then immediately I turned around to go get her because they thought there was a fire in the building, I wouldn't have been able to witness Aliana, my niece, coming with me and saying, I just love my Billy so much and I need to make sure she's safe, TT. Right? If I judged the experiences I was having this morning, I wouldn't have been open to the miracle of love, which is the most powerful and profound miracle that we have out there. We have access to love in any given moment. And so, I work really hard not to impress upon my beliefs on anybody because I fundamentally believe one, any belief limits you, right? I don't know really anything other than love is a incredibly powerful energy, and it's what we are all made of. And when we open ourselves up to the experience of love, well, things show themselves to you in new and profound ways that you might not have otherwise been able to experience, especially if you're in judgment. Guys, when I lost my older sister, I judged that experience as the worst day of my life. But quite frankly, looking back at it 5 years later, it's the best thing I could have ever experienced in my life. And it's why I have deep and immense thankfulness and gratitude to Shelley, because who I am today is a result of having lost her physical presence and if I'm being in real, I feel her more every day today than I ever did when she was in this physical body, right? If So all of the things I've judged have always turned out to be in my highest favor, always in my highest good. And yet in the moment I suffered immensely because I judged it as wrong or unfair, or I made up a story about me and all of the things that I thought I needed to be. In this present moment, we are enough. We are just enough. We do not need to do anything else. And when we just accept ourselves free from judgment, we don't judge anybody else. And I don't judge anybody else. Guys, I don't. Whether you are in jail for murder, whether you have led a country to um start a war. I can't judge you because I don't know fundamentally why things unfold the way they are. But I do trust that love will carry us through. I think about Gandhi and I think about Joan of Arc and I think about just some of the greatest influences of our global time, and all of them came from immense amounts of love, and none of them judged. They didn't. And I think that they did struggle though, because they're human, unless you experience enlightenment. And so, do I sit free from judgment? I don't. And I'll be real honest. I am most hard on myself, even to this day. It's easy for me to get caught up in assuming I know why things are working out the way they are, or whether or not I'm good enough for this or whatever, but I don't. And so when I remind myself of that and I surrender to just being okay with this moment, knowing I'm safe, knowing that I'm here sharing my wisdom with you or my understanding, whether or not it feels right for you or not, um, I trust that that's where I'm meant to be. And so 2 days before Christmas, for those of you who celebrate, and uh just for any of you out there who find themselves really hard on themselves and maybe hard on the world, because I know that when I was in deep judgment of myself, it presented as me judging everybody else. Like, I always had a good opinion about somebody and what they were doing and how they needed to do it and why their beliefs were wrong and how I could do it better. But really, it was just me judging myself. And so, when you catch yourself judging yourself, can you give yourself permission to just let it go? Just surrender what you think needs to be and then allow for what is. And what I mean by that is just being present in the moment. So for me, it would be letting go of the fact that I thought I put in my contacts for 10 minutes and laughing about it because it's hilarious. And letting go of the fact that I had to go drop my daughter off and come back and then immediately go pick her up because I get to witness love instead of like being upset that I had to go out of my way, and letting go of where I think I need to be as a mom, as a sister, as a daughter, as a coach, as a speaker, and just trusting that with the belief that everything is working out for everybody in its highest good, that I don't have to know why it's unfolding the way it is. I just have to trust that that's enough. And in that I get to experience the miracle of love all the time. So, 2 days before Christmas for some of you, and a week before this perceived new year 2025, we're going into a quarter of the century of 2000 whatever. Holy moly. I encourage you, what can you do to let go and give yourself grace? And in giving yourself permission to just be okay with what is, you get to experience a lot of joy, because when you're not in guilt, when you're not in shame, when you're not in fear, when you're not in judgment, you're attracting love. And love to me is our superpower. Love and authenticity, which, let's be real, I love to be me and because of that, I attract a lot of gifts to me, and I hope you guys do too. I trust you will. Until next year, I will check you on the ladder, and I wish you guys a freaking lot of laughter, a lot of unexpected moments of joy, and a lot of grace, because we all are worthy of grace and blessings and miracles.